All right. We built a school.
And we are live.
All right. Look at the messages are already coming in. Let's see. I'm trying to go into the event page so I can make sure I watch it all. We built a school. Oh, back in. There we go.
Good
Are
morning.
we
Good
ringing?
morning. Good morning.
Good morning. What's up, network? We're gonna let some folks get in. I'm gonna put my earrings in. You know, the day has not started unless you put your earrings on. Nope. There we go. That makes it easier when you do it the right way. Good morning, network. What's going on?
Good morning.
It's going to be a beautiful day. Uche and I have our coffee. Well, my coffee is almost done. I might get another cup.
I'm drinking tea this morning.
Oh, look at you, responsible. Wait, are you feeling all right? Okay, so I'm having a hard time getting this earring on, meaning it might not work today. Which means after this talk, I might take a whole nother nap, you guys. I might. Also, I'm doing something crazy with this earring. Um, it is Builder Square. Look at us. We done made it to another Builder Square. This is our final Builder Square, which can you believe? But not really our final Builder Square because we've been having conversations about bringing this event outside. My window's over here, outside. And so if you're watching this live or if you're catching the restream, go ahead and put in the comments if you would like to join us at a networking event sometime in the very near future as we bring entrepreneurs of color, developers of color, real estate agents of color uh, together, architects of color together to network and to understand a little bit more of the industry and the ecosystem here in San Antonio. It's been a fact finding mission for us. These last four Builder Squares have been about how Echo Public Relations is learning about the landscape of development, of organizations surrounding development here in Central Texas and San Antonio. And so we've had a really good time. We've talked to, of course, our host partners and sponsors in this endeavor, Moody Nolan Architects. Thank you so much to Moody Nolan Architects. It's the country's largest Black owned architecture firm, more than 130 architects fill the 13 or 14 offices that Moody Nolan occupies across the country, making them the 2019 and 2020 AIA Architecture Firm of the Year award recipients. So congratulations to them. And they just celebrated a bunch of years. So go ahead, yes, rounds of applause. Go ahead and do some Google searching. Make sure they stay at the top of your Google search. Moody Nolan, that's MoodyNolan. Very historic opportunity that we have working with them here. If you haven't gotten the gist of it, Echo Public Relations was tapped to work alongside Moody Nolan to help to engage the community surrounding MLK Academy's redesign. We create opportunities to further discuss development and innovation with some local officials. So we sat down with COSA. Who did we sit down with, Uche? Who did we sit down with? Some
I
COSA
sat down
people.
with a number of people actually. So um, the beautiful folks at Arts Development have joined us for Builder Square, where they shared kind of the new design techniques that are going on and touched on other topics that involve new building design and code enforcement that they've had to work around based on the community we're in. We've also sat down with Black general contractor Sharika Arch. She was amazing. She shared, some of the insight that's and issues, but at the same time solutions that she's found to work for her to enable that she advance within the industry as a woman-owned construction firm. We've also had the privilege to also sit down with Moody Nolan themselves. They joined us and they shared their insights regarding architectural frameworks and how the city of San Antonio and nationwide, the industry is changing and constantly growing. So it's been a very exciting Builder Square to say the least.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm sorry. I got a little confused there. Yes, we sat down with all those people for Builder Square, but when it came to Moody Nolan, as we were tapped to manage the public relations surrounding MLK Academy, we went around and we had a tour of faces and conversations in the city, and we were very, very grateful to people that spent time with us. Um, Brian Dillard, the director of the Office of Innovation, met with Moody Nolan, as well as uh, Commissioner
Renee.
Kirk, yeah, Renee Watson from the Swim Beat Calvert, of course, from Bexar County, and a host of other folks really got excited about MLK Academy because schools on the east side. It was built in the 40s. There's a lot of history there. It's right where the MLK March kicks off every single year for the last 30 years. So it's a lot of history. It's a gigantic footprint in the community in terms of historical relevance. And that means that its alumni is vast. There are a lot
Mhm.
of MLK alumni, MLK Academy, the middle school, elementary school. So it's a mixed school that has around 550, maybe 600 students coming through fluctuated. So just to get a little gist of the scope of services that ECHU signed on to provide, when we decided to get some community feedback. And what has been teaching us is that you don't have surround what you're building, where you're building. That development may not go as smoothly as planned. So we came out to create opportunities that introduce not only the Moody name, but always for the community to give feedback surrounding we come out of a redesign or a remodel of MLK Academy. Now, mind you, it's an SAISD project that was approved in 2017 in the 2017 bond. More than $1.3 billion was approved for SAISD projects, one of 25 projects. And so there's a lot of information how the approval sticker at the bottom. Look at this around the approval in terms of how much money was allotted, how much is to be able to actually spent, and then you all, and then to also maneuver surrounding a panoramic, the pandemic affected process to redesign school, right? So, calendar was very jam packed for a second, right, Uche? We went to
Mhm.
we went to a number of bond hearings.
Mhm.
SAI is the so a number of projects. Even
Yep.
in our there's 4 projects over here. Right? There's Bowman, there's Academy. Oh, we're having some connection issues. We just got an alert.
Yeah, I think your Wi-Fi might be a little slowed down on you.
Yeah, I got some things open. I wanted to share my screen once or twice, but I have to really drop the links in this chat.
Well, if you want to share the link with me, I can share my screen.
Okay, well, it's the We Built a School splash chat. And then we want to talk about who else is building a school in the city. So let me just run down our timeline. So when you pull up the We Built a School splash chat, just save that. And then the links at the bottom. is what I was clicking on. I just wanted to have it for at the ready. So our timeline when we started kicked off in this project, we decided that it was very important to envelop ourselves in everything that SAISD was already putting out concerning the bond, as well as other development projects in the area. So this learning curve that we were set out to really tackle included understanding how bond money was allocated, understanding how administrative costs affected the bond spend, and then understanding how to properly engage with parents and neighbors of MLK Academy. San Antonio Independent School District hosted roughly 7 or 8 bond meetings where they were able to engage parents and get their feedback pertaining to specific projects. So architects attended, they had something called charrette meetings, which are design meetings. A charrette is a big giant brainstorming, brain dumping, and it's usually very interactive. So there's posters involved, there's post-its, there's small little presentations, there's just ideate things type of a way to make an idea happen, and they're very very interactive. So parents and teachers and students get out of their seats and they almost play with little puzzle pieces to determine what they want their schools to have and to host. And it again, I was blown away by how each architecture firm had a very specific way in which they presented their charrettes. So each firm brings its own personality to the projects, which makes me super, super proud to work with Moody Nolan because one, it's an MLK building. MLK buildings across the globe, across the country, are buildings of stature. They're buildings with history. They're named after an amazing man that led an amazing moment in our time that kicked off a civil rights movement that I believe we're still in the middle of right now. Um, so an MLK building can bring a lot of prestige in terms of our our schedule of work, as well as, of course, another amount of prestige for Moody Nolan. Moody Nolan has done a few MLK buildings across the country. So they bring their own personality into these projects, and then they also bring their own personality into how they engage. And they kind of gave us a little work. They let us do what we wanted to do for a second. So we built a little website. We're just gonna split screen the website. Um, why we named it We Built a School, and this website had a goal of going out during MLK March season. If you all remember, MLK March was canceled, postponed until 2023 because of the COVID outbreak, and I think at that moment we were suffering from Omicron.
Right.
Um, and we didn't want to have a super spreader event in a low income area that could have created a gigantic amount of fatalities. So, good job to the responsible people behind the MLK Commission for making sure that you didn't create any additional suffrage. But also, we lost thousands of eyes, potential eyes, on this website. The goal was to literally have a gigantic balloon arch and pop-up banner that had a QR code where people can scan the code and fill out a survey really, really quickly. And we wanted thousands of responses. It went from thousands of responses to literally 7 responses in like a day. Like it was the we wanted it all. So here's a website that we created. Process of how we the types of feedback that we need, why people should care about this process, because that's important to define as well. Forcing a conversation and forcing a decision on people that before they're recognizing that they should care about it is a quick way to get some really bad results or some really skewed results. And then we created a listing of, well, we didn't create this listing. Moody Nolan was able to give us a listing of all of the opportunities that a school remodel will have. From safety and security to technology to the processes to overhauling and replacing replacing renovated portions of the school already, to including playground equipment, to including more equipment pertaining to the school's curriculum, which is performing arts. So there was a number of things that Moody Nolan had on their checklist to make sure that they were able to accommodate SAISD's requests. And then here's the reason why we needed them to take the survey. And we needed a big pool of survey takers. Again, the importance of this is to understand the growth plan of the community, as well as to understand the footprint that the school has in actuality in an everyday space from the community, right? There's a footprint that the school has in the history of San Antonio. It's an MLK building, it's the kickoff of the MLK March. It is one of the oldest schools on the east side. There's a large alumni association. But at the same time, currently, it sits at the beginning of a couple of new developments. There's the Salado Creek development, there's MLK Boulevard developments, there's small low income housing popping up in the area. So we want to make sure at the everyday level what the footprint of the school has, what's the importance of this school. And then, of course, we give a good solid quote from MLK himself. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. So, the goal of this survey is really summed up in this quote. We want to give the school, we want to maintain the school's character while we're also gaining a lot of intelligence from our community so that we can build on that character. And this Uche, the level of disappointment we had when we responsibly was in agreement of canceling the MLK March. But at the same time, it meant that thousands of interactions that we needed to give Moody Nolan the response that they required to build and build up was not had.
Yeah, it was definitely a heartbreaking scenario, but it's okay.
Is it?
It is. It is. We move forward. We move forward. We pivot and we reorganize.
True, you got that honest. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. So how is it that we're going to move around this? Well, right now we're still learning. I'm about to send Uche just another link. I think I can send him another link. Hmm. The link that I'm going to send is going to be in the messages. It turns out that there's a number of different projects happening right now on the east side. And one of those, which I just sent it in the messenger, Google chat.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna close this one down, I think, because it's making my computer run slow. So there are other capital improvement projects that are happening right now across the city, and this is not going to be a long chat, mainly because we started late, and two, there's some different events that I actually want to bring more information about to this We Built a School discussion. And one of them is the groundbreaking futures. The groundbreaking futures campaign for St. Philip's College. They have been in the middle of a gigantic development plan since 2019. And it didn't necessarily stall out during the pandemic, actually. They were able to complete 2 or 3 buildings and do some remodeling in terms of their groundwork. I love the St. Philip's campus. It's big, it's airy, it's got a yard. If you all don't know, it's San Antonio's HBCU. Yes, we have an HBCU right here on the heart of the east side. It's a beautiful campus that actually mixes a number of different campuses there. So St. Mary's University has a nursing school. There's a culinary school there as well. And I believe that there. But this particular program, development campaign that they're launching is a CIP, Capital Improvements Project, where they are spending $450 million of
Yep.
bond money. They've approved this bond in 2017, so it's right there next to the SAISD bond approval. So we are spending money. The city is spending money that we approved in 2017 this year. So roughly every 5 years or so, we spend money that we approved from 5 years previous. That's how I understand the bond. But you guys, it's 2022. There's inflation, there's supply chain disruption, there's all these old quotes. How are they going to get around this? I have all of these questions, but I love how this website is set up where they're literally giving you price adjustments. Is that what I'm looking at here, Uche? What you're
Yes,
scrolling
you
at?
are. You're looking at the bond issuance and the maintenance and tax notes attached to it. So
I love the
these
transparency.
Yeah, so the maintenance and tax notes, that's kind of like like you said, the price adjustments based upon change in, design or, inflation. So for example, you see the gym renovations initially cost 4.7 million dollars. But with maintenance and tax notes and all the initial price adjustments, they've added an additional 9.8 million, making it a total of $14.5 million.
And they're building an entire, and these are across a couple of different campuses.
Yes.
So there's the Northeast campus, there's the Northwest Vista campus, Palo Alto, the SAC campus, which is closer to downtown, and then there's the St. Philip's campus. And then Philip's here is in blue. You see they're building and putting a number of facilities and centers and renovations together, totaling $92.9 million, and that is with the addition of an additional $10.9 million in those additional costs and fees that we might see this year. So it's a big giant spend, but the transparency that we see here is fantastic. This really puts and not even a spin, but it creates a little bit of honesty in terms of how much these campuses are going to get, and then also how much. And they look like, wait, keep scrolling, look down. I'm sorry, this caught my eye. I gotta stop. Bond proposal total project cost, the last line there. Bond proposal total project cost 429 million. That was what was in the article, right? We were going to spend 429 million, 450 million. They added an additional 50 million.
Yep.
So they're over their spend. I would like to see how that plays out.
I mean, it's really interesting with the supply chain issues. They were able to factor that additional cost into it. And I think that's a fair assessment that a lot of institutional organizations are starting to do when going to these bond issuances, because you never know what happens in the next 2 years. I'm sure the voting will happen this year for this, and by the time they actually start the disbursement of funds, it will be a year from now. Prices will have changed dramatically from this year.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I love this. I'm gonna screenshot this and see how I can move around with it. Now, this is an ideal situation. And as we've been learning. We have been doing nothing but learning through this process of Builder Square. I actually got this information about the capital improvements projects over at Alamo Colleges from a San Antonio Report newsletter that went out yesterday. What also went out yesterday is that there are a number of events happening today that I really feel like the attendance of these events will make this current conversation way more robust. So Sage is hosting a town hall this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Port San Antonio is hosting a open conversation event at 11 o'clock. And then there's a number of Juneteenth events that are going to get a lot of feedback, that we're looking to get a lot of feedback during. That you probably might have seen in the opportunity report. Let me go ahead and grab that link for you all and send it in the chat. So I really want to bring this event, this conversation to your attention, Uche, but I know you have um, brought events to my attention as well. So what do you think that we should do? Should we kind of go to these events and get the feedback and then bring it back and host like a little round B session?
Yes, I think it would be good to really analyze the events and bring it back and host a round B session. I know I'll be speaking today. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be speaking, but I know I'm going to
You're
be
going to be
representing
speaking.
at the panel discussion with the mayor and the councilman, and it's going to be interesting. I think a lot of conversations have really started within the community regarding how investments should occur within the community. And You mentioned something that was very important earlier about community feedback and community participation. If we do not have adequate community participation, some of these bond projects that were issued may not necessarily go as planned, because we need to ensure that we keep the community leaders and individuals who are managing these bonds accountable so that these projects can happen to its fullest, rather than folks saying, you know what, because of inflation, we cannot fulfill XYZ bond project, even though they have to. Um, but they may not fulfill it to the promised state that was initially indicated when the bond was issued. So um, we need to keep our leaders accountable and urge them, hey, if additional funding needs to be tapped, let's do that. These bonds have already been instituted, and it's important to go through with them, because in the end, it's the people that will suffer if those bond projects don't occur.
Yeah. We need to be able to further speak up so that we can talk about what will not be cut from the plans. And that's a thing. That's a real situational issue that we have to pay close attention to. And what our feedback allows is for, as the money is being spent, as the projects are being allotted and they move along further, things end up on the cutting room floor.
Hmm.
Portions, might lose a closet here or a couple hundred square feet of space over there that might hurt in terms of the accommodation of the education that we want to provide our students. And so when we provide feedback and we give importance to uh, a full scale track, right? So now we don't have a half of a track. We have a full circular track that can be utilized by not only the students and their track and field team, and they don't have to get bused to an entire another campus, but also can be used to keep the community healthy, right? When we suffer from having no additions to an already dated auditorium, that means we lack the access to innovative presentations tools that these students might need in their future educational career, right? We
Hmm.
don't update the technology of a school. That means those students don't get to have access to that technology until high school, until college. And even then, they're behind students that have had access to that technology for years. So we want to make sure that as we get this feedback, we can tell this, we not only tell the administration and the architecture teams and the design teams and the construction teams what we want, but also what we don't want to get left out, because things are going to get cut. How do we stop things from getting cut? The money. We need more money, right? And so, how does that work? We've had a number of really cool conversations about how to give to public schools. And giving your feedback is one thing, but let's not focus on the strategy of getting feedback. Let's focus on how much success has this community been able to create, and how many people are available to give back to this community in the form of gifts, so that some of these, to fill in the gaps of things that might go missing, that may end up on the cutting room floor. So there's opportunities there, just as there's opportunities with this groundbreaking futures program with St. Philip's College and SAC and Alta Vista and Palo Alto campuses. There are opportunities to give public schools in an effort to endow technological advance, or to endow different portions of the campus be the way they need to be, the way that they should be, and that does require a little community involvement, right? So
Hmm.
let's focus on that in the future. But for right now, let's put all this on your radar, get to thinking, drop some questions in the comments. I'll see y'all at 11 o'clock at Port San Antonio. And then at 2 o'clock, where's the Sage event at, Uche?
Velocity, Texas.
Ooh, Velocity, Texas. Okay, have y'all seen what Velocity, Texas is building? I say Google it. Velocity TX, Velocity Texas, bioscience, entrepreneurship, incubators, internships, lowering the gap between tech and STEM studies with inner city students. So there's opportunities for our inner city students to go there to learn innovative technology, to learn bioscience technology, to work with entrepreneurs and startups. There's opportunities for the Velocity Texas entrepreneurs to come out of their campus, and it's quite a large campus over there, and do mentorship programs in our area ISDs. So definitely of Velocity Texas. There's also some programs for legacy businesses already established in San Antonio. Velocity Texas has some really amazing resources that can help scale legacy businesses. You and your family have had business here in San Antonio for years, and you've been looking to understand scaling and looking to understand public-private partnerships. Go ahead and look up Velocity Texas, and maybe just maybe you might find a program that you could fit in. At least
Yeah.
some mentors, at least become a vendor, at least attend one or all of their events.
Did you
Um,
already mention it's a co-working space?
no, I didn't, because I almost forgot about it. So thank you, Uche. Yes, there's a co-working space there. There's a co-working space there. Again, comes with mentorship, comes with access, and comes with being in an environment that is moving commerce forward.
Yeah.
And if we don't utilize this space as East Siders, and I'm gonna fear this in the open, I'm fearing it's gonna get sucked into being downtown. Downtown. It's on our side of the tracks. So let us use it the way we need to use it to create
Yeah.
groundbreaking opportunities for our people. Okay? Okay. Good talk. All right, everybody. We'll be live a little bit today on Instagram. And of course, our tweets are always pumping. Catch us at EHCU PR on both platforms, Instagram and Twitter. That's EHCU PR.
I'll drop it in the chat.
EHCU PR on Instagram and Twitter. Will be giving out all of our deets of where we are today and what types of conversations we are joining in. We are so grateful for your half hour this morning. Apologize for the technical difficulties. It was all my fault. And you all take your coffee to go, take your tea to go, and y'all have a good morning. Thanks, Uche.
Morning.